back, everybody. Today's class is going to be level 1, sequence 2. So for those of you who have studied with me before, you're familiar with the blue handout. So this is going to be page 2, and we're going to do the 12 poses in class today. So for today's class, you're going to need, of course, your blankets, preferably 3 if you have, a belt or strap. 6 feet is perfectly fine. 2 blocks, or if you don't have blocks, you could use anything that is stable. Pile of books, maybe even a bag of flour might work, I don't know. And of course, you can have a chair handy also. Okay, so I want to also, before I start, make sure to remind you to subscribe and to like below. And also, if you're interested in any of the embroidered shirts I have to help me during this unemployed time, the link is down below. Which is my Etsy shop, when you also get to save some money on this little coupon code below. And also a list of props, where you can buy the props, is going to be below. And also I want to thank Janet for making a donation, which is a link below at PayPal in case you want to donate any amount. $5, any amount is helpful. It looks like we're going to be online until probably the beginning of May, so I might not be able to see you guys until then. But in the meantime, stay safe. All right, and we'll get started. So first, sitting on top of your props, either blocks, blankets, whatever you have, and then crossing your shins in Sukhasana. Let the feet be slightly forward. Pull the buttock flesh out and back. And now draw the tailbone down into the blanket, lift your sternum chest, roll the shoulders back, and then join the palms. With your eyes closed. So inhaling, feel the lift of the chest. Relaxing the eyes, relaxing the cheeks. And we'll just chant the sound of Om. On the exhalation, release your head down towards your hands. Release your hands onto your lap. Inhale, lift your head, and slowly open your eyes. Okay. So today's first pose is going to be Utthita Trikonasana. So you're going to need 2 blocks, or if you can't reach the floor, by all means use your chair. So first, remove the prop you're sitting on. Okay. So having your blocks on either side. So first, starting from Tadasana, chest lifted, top of the buttock going down. Now you can either step or jump the feet apart. So if you're jumping, bring the fingertips towards each other, bend the knees, and then jump the feet, and then extend the arms. Now we're going to go to the right first. So now turn your left foot in slightly, your right leg all the way out. So once again, rolling from inner thigh towards the outer thigh. Lifting the chest, top of the buttock still going down. And now on an exhale, reach out to the right. Reach through the right hand, take the hand down onto the block or your leg. Keep your left hand on your hip for now. So now work on rolling the leg from inner to outer, pressing the outer edge of the left foot down, making sure to lift, draw the abdomen up, and be here. So working the legs first. And now on an inhale, bring the left arm up, press into your feet, reach up through the left arm to come up and out of the pose. Relax your arms, turn your feet to face forward, and then to the right, sorry, to the left. Turn your right leg in, your left leg all the way out. So now as you lift the arms up on an inhale, roll the leg from inner to outer, press the outer edge of the right foot down, and on an exhale, reach out through your left arm. Extend and lengthen the side of the trunk, and then come down, take your hand onto the block, right hand onto your hip, and now keep rolling the leg from inner to outer, keeping the knees straight. Press the inner edge of the left foot down, outer edge of the right foot down, and then breathe. So working to keep the legs as straight as possible. Keep lifting the front of the abdomen up by getting the tailbone to go down, top of the buttock towards the right heel. And now on an inhale, bring the right arm up, press into your feet. Inhale, come on up. Relax your arms, turn your legs to face forward. And now once again on the second side. So still having your blocks. Inhale the arms up, left foot in, right leg all the way out. And now as you work on the legs, lift the chest up, lengthen the sides of the chest here upward. Now if you're using the chair will be in front of your foot, which I forgot to show in the last part, but the idea is the same, okay? So now when you start to come down, here's the difference I want you to do. I want you to lift your right arm up. Okay, and now as you come up, keep the right arm extended upward so the side of the trunk stays really, really open. And then lead with the arms. Let the armpit chest come down first, and then the shoulder, and then the arm floats down to your prop. Then take your left hand to your hip again. So you don't want to bean here. You want to get these ribs to go down. So use your hands to press the ribs into the body so that your right side gets more long. Okay? And now roll that shoulder back. Take the bottom right ribs forward, left top ribs back, and then take the arm up. Good. And now to come up, reach up through the arm. Inhale, come on up. Relax your arms. Turn your feet to face forward. Same thing on the second side. So now when you turn your right leg in, your left leg all the way out, still working on the legs, inner to outer. Inhale the arms up, top of the buttock down, sternum chest lifted, but now take your left arm up. Have your left palm facing your right hand. So I know you can't see it, but like this. Okay? And now as I lift up, when I come over, now I keep the left side of my body very, very long. Notice how I don't collapse. The shoulder is still lifting. And then I float the hand down to the prop. And then I take my right hand to my hip. So I want to keep this side of my body lengthening. So to help me do that, don't let these ribs poke up. You're going to take your hand here and move those ribs down. And as you do that, turn the right shoulder back, let the left ribs roll forward. Be here, and then take the arm up. So keep your head in neutral, gazing towards the camera or the video. And then when you're ready to come out, reach up through the right arm so that helps to lift you up and out of the pose. Relax your arms, turn your feet to face forward, and either step or jump the legs together. Okay. Now we're going to do Virabhadrasana II, which is Warrior II pose. Now, I know many of you have knee issues, so we're first going to do it at the wall, okay? So be sure that you're next to a wall, which I didn't mention in the beginning, but you want to be near a wall. So you're going to need your block, okay? You're gonna have your block flat against the wall. So like in this position with the short side, right up against the wall. What you're gonna do first, and I have to show you from the same side, is you're going to take your left foot, or your right foot actually, to the wall. So your foot's on the block. Have the other block in front of your foot. Now, when you step your other leg back, heel to heel alignment, you're going to be here. So the left leg will be at the wall first, and then you're going to turn around and do the right leg, so this way you still see me. Okay? Now, when I start to bend the knee towards the wall, I have to keep this leg straight. Okay? And then once I bend, now I'm going to reach down to the block, put the block in front of my shin. You may have to move your foot slightly away, but now you can see how my shin is straight up and down. My knee is supported using the help of the block. Then I can take my hand to the wall. So now your right leg is straight, your left leg is bent at a 90-degree angle with the support of the block. Your left hand's at the wall. So now as you press into the wall, turn the left ribs forward. So now you're going to square your chest and waist towards me and extend your right arm out. Get the top of the buttock to go down towards the floor. Good. So now when you release, the block is foam, it falls out, not going to hurt you. Relax your arms. Now heel toe your right leg in towards your left leg. So now when you repeat on the second side, now your back is going to be facing me. So now you're going to have the sound of my voice. So now when your right leg is at the wall, the block is going to be on the inside of your right foot. Hold the wall, step your left leg back, heel to heel alignment. So now you'll see from the back side, if you're watching. So now as you turn your waist and chest away from your leg, just bend the right knee a little bit. Let the knee warm up. And now reach down for the block, put the block in front of your shin. So now as you press your shin into the block, make sure your knee is over your ankle. Your shin is perpendicular to the floor. Take your right hand to the wall. Extend your left arm out. So now you can see from the back body, if you're watching here, top of the buttock down, knee is moving back. And then to come on out, press into your right leg, extend it, let the block fall out, heel toe your left leg into your right leg. Okay. Now we're going to try it in the middle of the room. So I'm going to first show you from the side, because when you do Virabhadrasana II, and you'll see here, heel to heel alignment. If my foot's too far forward, you can see my back leg here. My front leg is going to hide my back leg, so now you can't even see I'm in one plane. So now as I bend the knee, I want the knee to go over the center of my foot. Okay? So it's not doing this, straight line. So now, first we're going to go to the right. So either step or jump the feet apart, wide stance. Almost 4 to 4.5 feet wide, if possible. Turn your left leg in, right leg all the way out. So now as you get the top of the buttock to go down, same thing. Buttock down, chest lifted. Arms extended. So now as you press into the outer edge of your left foot, bend the right leg. Keep the knee moving back so you feel that stretch. Inner groin going towards the inner knee, outer knee pulling back towards the outer hip. Reach out through your left arm more. Good. And then release. Feet forward, relax your arms. Second side. Turn your right leg in, left leg all the way out. Inhale the arms up at shoulder height. Press the outer edge of the right foot down, bend the left knee. Keep the knee moving back towards the center of the foot. Shin perpendicular. So lean from the inner groin to the inner knee, outer knee towards the outer hip. And now avoid doing this. Reach out through the right arm more to keep your trunk erect. Good. And then straighten, relax, Bring your feet together. Okay. Now you're using the wall again for Ardha Uttanasana. So for Ardha Uttanasana, Ardha meaning half, Uttanasana meaning intense stretch. So for here, you're actually going to bring your fingertips to the wall about hip height. So you're going to face the wall, fingertips just about hip height. And now when I walk back, so watch here first, here. So my shoulders are in line with my elbows, and my wrists. So my whole upper body is in one plane. If my hands are too high, so you're in an L-shaped pose, okay? So once again, fingertips at the wall, hip height, walk back slowly so your palms reach the wall. Turn your toes in, your heels slightly out. Now if your shoulders are sticky, you can turn your fingertips out to the sides so your inner wrists face each other, which helps you to roll the arms from inner to outer. So as you roll the arms from inner to outer, same thing with the legs. Inner thighs have to roll back, inner arms have to roll towards the back of your head. Keep your knees straight. Keep your head and chest up slightly, so you keep a slightly concave back, and then push into the wall to extend the sides of your trunk. And breathe. And to come on up, walk your feet up towards the wall. Inhale and come on up. Okay. Now we're going to do Parsvottanasana. Parsvottanasana, Parsva meaning sides of the flanks here, which is an intense stretch of the sides of the trunk. So for this pose, you're either going to use blocks or you can use a chair. Okay? So you have the chair seat face you, or have your two blocks in the tall position. Okay? So I'm just going to first show you Parsvottanasana, so you see. So here. So notice how my legs are straight, my chest is extending forward, and I'm working the hips, rolling the arms from inner to outer. Okay? So, blocks handy. Step your right leg forward, your left leg back. So now as you're here first, keep the legs straight. Lift the chest. So now you can already see how this hip is going too far back. So you may have to lift the heel up of the back leg and turn it out to the side a little bit more. So you start to feel how the leg starts to roll in, just like you did in triangle pose. In Tadasana, lift the chest again. And then on an exhale, as you press the heel down, lengthen the trunk forward, keeping your head and chest up, and then float your hands either down to the chair or the block. You could be on the fingertips if need be. So now, with the back leg especially, roll the inner thigh away from your front leg. Roll the inner thigh back, so you start to feel that outer left hip come forward. Inner left leg back. Press the front edge of the front foot down, inner edge down. Lengthen the trunk. And then to come on up, take one hand to your hip, press into your hip. Inhale, come on up. And then switch legs. So now left leg forward, right leg back. Also with this pose too, you don't want the feet narrow like you did in triangle pose. The feet are going to be about hip width apart, just for stability in the beginning. The better you get, then you can bring the legs a little bit closer together. So now left leg forward, right leg back. Inner edge of the front foot pressing down, and now with the back leg, lift the heel, turn the heel slightly out to the right even more, so the leg rolls in more. Lift your chest, roll the shoulders back. Now as you press the heel down, extend the trunk forward. Keep your head and chest up. Don't let the head drop. And then come down, hands to the chair or the blocks. You could be on the fingertips if need be. So now as you work to roll the inner thigh of the back leg back, press the inner edge of the front foot down more. Keep your head and chest up. Roll your inner arms forward. Inner arms forward, inner thighs back. And now to come on up, hand to the hip, press into your hip. Inhale, come on up. And then bring the feet together. Okay. Now, second time. So now you're going to take right leg forward, left leg back once again. Same thing. Roll the inner thigh back. Lift the chest. Roll the shoulders back. So now here I want you to take the chest, open the chest up quite a bit. Keep the shoulders moving back. So as you come forward, once again, the shoulders are going to belong to the ceiling. The shoulders are going to go up so the chest is broad. And then you take your hands down. And now roll the inner arms forward much more than you did the first time. So this way you get the chest to be much more open. Okay? And breathe. And then hand to your hip. Press into the hip. Inhale, come on up. And then switch legs. Left leg forward, right leg back. Now, if you do feel very unsteady here and your back heel is a little lifted up, it's okay to put a little piece of blanket back there. So this way you have something to anchor your heel into, okay? So left leg forward, right leg back. So see how I have my heel on the blanket. So when I lift my foot up and turn my leg in, my heel has something to press into. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, exhale, come forward. So now once again, as you come forward, your shoulders don't belong to the floor, they belong to the ceiling. Get the shoulders to lift up. Roll the shoulders back. Chest forward. Head and chest up. Inner thigh rolling back. Front foot, inner edge pressing down. Need to come on up, hand to the hip. Press into your feet. Inhale, come on up. And relax. Okay. Now, the fifth pose we're going to do today is Prasarita Padottanasana, which means a wide-legged forward bend. This one you could also use the chair, or you could use your blocks. I'm going to show you from the side first, so you get a good visual of the legs. So here, when the legs are apart, let's see if I get this on camera better. You can see how my heels are going to be in the same line. Okay? The legs are going to go back. I lift my chest, I come forward. So now here's where you have to be mindful of the legs. Sometimes the buttock goes too far back and you're hanging in the back of your knees too far forward, and you feel how the heels want to lift up to be in the happy medium. Okay? All right. Are you ready to come up? Okay, so now, blocks face me. So now here, step the legs apart. So I want you to look at the feet. Make sure that the big toes are lining up with one another. Toes turned in slightly, heels slightly apart. So you feel the back of your thighs spread apart. Hands on the hips. Make sure your blocks are in easy reach. Hands on the hips. Now use your thumbs to get the top of the buttock to go down. Lift your chest. Roll the shoulders back. Bring the elbows towards one another so you get that feeling in the chest that you need. Now on an exhale, keep the legs straight. Keep your head and chest up looking at me, and now float your hands down to the block. So now notice where the weight is in your foot. Do you feel the horseshoe of the heel or the inner and outer ball mounts both pressing down? Contract the kneecaps. Lift the kneecaps up. Lift the sit bones slightly up so your hamstrings open on up. and roll your inner arms towards me. And breathe. All right. Now to come up out of this pose, you're not going to take your hands to your hips. What I want you to do instead here is bring the heels and the toes together. And then hand to the hip, inhale and come on up. Okay? Now one more time. So once again, feet wide apart, heel to heel alignment, toes in, heels out. Now keep the thighs lifted. So if you can watch here, if you see it on the camera, I don't want this to be soft. I want to contract it and pull it on up. Top of the buttock down, chest lifted, shoulders rolling back. So now on an exhale, keep the head and chest up. Hands to the blocks once again. Okay, now as your inner thighs are rolling back, inner arms are rolling towards me. And now lift the kneecaps, lift the sit bones. So your back is going to be a little bit concave. But don't let the abdomen fall. Think of drawing the abdomen into the spine so you support the lower back. And then to come on out, hands on the blocks or the chair, walk your feet together. Once they're hip width, hand to your hip, press into your hip. Inhale, come on up. And pause. And breathe. Okay. The next pose we're going to do is Sukhasana, which is very similar to the pose you did way in the beginning. Actually, it is the pose you did in the beginning. So you're going to need your blanket. Another thing I want to point out too with the blankets is when you're sitting on the platform, you may or may not have noticed, when I use the blankets, fringes on one side, fringes on the other side, so it's opposite. This way, if you notice here, this side is very firm, this side is a little bit squishier. This way, when you turn the blankets opposite, it gives you a balanced platform to sit on. Okay, so now, you can use your blocks on either side of your hips. If you're like me and you have shorter arms, it's a benefit. So now once again, sitting in Sukhasana, crossing your shins. So I want you to pay special attention of what leg is in front. Okay? Once again, pull the buttock flesh out and back. Take the tailbone down, lift the sternum chest. Now what I want you to do here is take your hand into the blanket so you can lift the sides of the trunk up. Lift the sides of the trunk up, roll the shoulders back. Relax your legs. And now what you're going to do here is you're going to take your left arm, you're going to cross it over your right knee. Use your right hand, if you can't reach the floor like me, the block is there. Take the block behind you a bit. Pause here. So you're still looking forward. Take the tailbone down, lift the chest, and now on an exhale, think of turning your navel towards your right hip. Turn the navel here. Keep looking forward. Inhale, lift the chest again, and then as you exhale, turn the ribs. Pause here. Inhale, lift the chest. On the next exhale, turn the upper chest. Let the right shoulder come back and the left armpit to come forward. Lift the chest again. And then as you exhale, now turn your head. So have your chin over your outer right hip. And then exhale, turn back towards the center. Same thing on the opposite side. So now press into the blanket, lift the trunk, roll the shoulders back, and now taking your right hand over your left knee, your left hand behind you. If you need to use a block, by all means do that. Take the tailbone down, lift your chest, and now on an exhale, think of turning your navel towards your outer left hip. Pause. Inhale, lift the chest. On your next exhale, turn your right ribs forward, your left ribs back. Pause. Inhale, lift again. And then on your next exhale, press your hand into your knee to draw the right armpit forward, your left shoulder back. Pause. Lift the chest, and then on an exhale now, turn your head so now your shoulders, so your chin is in the center of your chest. If your neck allows it, you can turn your head to look over your left shoulder, but be cautious. Exhale and release. Now, legs. You're going to switch them. Put that leg in the back. And we're going to do the same thing all over again. So top of the buttock down, chest lifted. Use your hands on your blanket to lift the chest. Roll the shoulders back. As you keep that lift, now cross your left arm over your right knee. Take your right arm behind you. And then inhale, turn the abdomen. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn the bottom ribs. Inhale, lift. Turn the shoulders. Inhale, lift. And then lastly, turn the head. But all the while making sure the tailbone's going down to the blanket, but your chest is lifted. You want to keep your back straight, in neutral. Come back towards the center as you exhale. Still with the same cross of the legs, lift the chest again, roll the shoulders back, and now cross your right arm over your left knee. Take your left hand behind you, tailbone down, chest lifted. And now exhale, turn the waist, turn the abdomen. Inhale, lift, turn the bottom ribs. Inhale, exhale, turn the shoulders. Inhale, lift again. Exhale, now turn the head. Keep the breath moving into the chest, so this way the chest stays lifted. And then on an exhale, head, shoulders, ribs, abdomen face forward. Okay, so that was Sukhasana. And now the seventh pose we're going to do is Baddha Konasana, which you're going to need the wall again. If you don't, worry about the wall anyway, but if you have a couch, you can also do this against the back of your couch, if it's available. Okay, now, you can use a blanket once again to sit on. Have the blanket right against the wall. Actually, you know what? We're going to change the fold. So instead of having this blanket to sit on, you're going to open it up, fold it this way, so it's much more skinnier. And then put that against the wall. If need be, you can use two blankets, if you need, but have them the same exact fashion. Okay? And then for Baddha Konasana here, what we're going to do is take our back to the wall. So as I sit with my back to the wall, the first thing I want to do is get pretty tight in there with the back of my buttocks and my sacrum. I'm going to extend my legs. Now reaching inside the knees, pull the knees back so the soles of your feet join. Okay? If this is quite extreme for you, you can always take your block and you can support the outer knee with the block. So this way the inner legs go towards the inner knees and the outer knees go back towards the hip, which is the same action you just did in Virabhadrasana II with the block at the wall. And your knee was bent, okay? So now when you get the back of your sacrum against the walls, as much as you can, soles of the feet touching, now here you can use your hands on your legs gently to roll the shoulders back and get the back of your head to be against the wall. So the back of the sacrum, back of the shoulders, back of the head as best as possible, and let the knees release down. You can even use your hands here to go from the inner legs towards the outer leg. Let the legs roll from inner to outer. So the outer knee is going down. So you want to get external rotation in your legs. And just rest here. If it's still too uncomfortable, pile up as many blankets as you need to, okay? And your feet don't need to be this close in the beginning. If they're a little further out, that's okay. It takes a while for the hips to open on up. So now just feel the back of the body against the wall. Letting the inner legs, the back of the hamstrings, let that release with the knees bent. Keep your chest lifting. Shoulders against the wall and head back. And now to come on out, you're going to use your hands to go on the outside of the knees, lift the knees up, extend the legs one at a time, and then rest. Okay. So the 8th pose we're going to do today is called Vajrasana, which I believe is either thunderbolt or lightning bolt. I always get confused. But what you're going to need is that blanket you were just sitting on. You're going to open it up. So you have a little bit of a cushion for your knees. And you might possibly need a second blanket. So Vajrasana, in this particular pose, you're going to be sitting on your feet. But there is a difference between this pose and Virasana, and I'm going to show you from the back. In Vajrasana, your knees and your feet are going to be straight back. Okay? And the idea here is to sit back directly on your heels. So your sit bones and your heels make contact, and the soles of your feet are going to be pointing straight up, little toes down. If you can't sit like this because of knee issues, you can definitely put something behind your legs. So you can have a second blanket. Notice how the rolled edge is in my hands, because now when I lift up, you can take your head to the floor, just for support. Pull the blanket all the way in to the back of your knees, and then sit back. If it's still not enough, you can always take a block, put the block over your heels, so this way you have something to sit on. Okay? So the idea here is the whole shin should be on the floor. So if that and also with the ankles, if you remember the last video, if the ankles don't quite touch, you can always take that little roll for the ankles to support that. But still, you're going to have the sit bones on the heels, all 5 toes on the floor, okay, on either foot. So now that you're here, now you have to get your top of the buttock to go slightly down, so you feel your abdomen lift up off your thighs, okay? You can take your hands to your hips, top of the buttock down, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. So now with the head, bring the head back, so you have this idea of the head in between the shoulders and the tailbone all in one line. So I'm not looking like this, I'm not looking like this, okay? So you can get that back body, the same thing you did when you were at the wall here. You felt the head, shoulders, and tailbone all against the wall. You want to recreate here in the middle of open space. And then here, once your legs have relaxed, you're going to interlock your fingers, okay? And now you're going to turn your palms away from you. So as you keep the top of the buttock going down, your chest lifted. On an inhale, bring the arms over your head. Bring the head back too. And now on an exhale, press the palms up towards the ceiling. So as the tailbone goes down, chest lifted, lift the sides of the chest up by using the help of the hands and the arms, looking forward. And then bend the arms, turn the palms to look at you, and now no switch pinkies on the bottom. You're going to switch the interlock of your hands. And then once again, invert the palms, top of the buttock down, chest lifted. Inhale the arms up. So now bring the head back, but not so far back that your chin's lifted up. You want to be looking straight forward at me. Okay? Looking straight forward at me, tailbone down, chest up, looking straight forward. Now bring the hands back a little bit. And now on an exhale, stretch the palms up. Tailbone down. And now lift the sides of the chest up, stretching through the fingers. And then release, and then come forward. Okay. Now, what you're going to do here is you're going to do Adho Mukha Virasana. So, for this, you're going to need 2 blankets. The blanket you were just kneeling on is already set up. Second blanket here. Take it, put it on top. And then from that rolled edge, you're going to roll the whole thing towards your fringe. Okay? Now, if you have a third blanket, if not, you need to pause and go get one. Your third blanket, you're going to put on the floor for your shins, because now you're going to do Adho Mukha Virasana. So unlike Vajrasana, which the knees and feet were together, Virasana is slightly different. So the toes touch, the knees come out, but you're still going to sit down on your feet. Okay, we did this in the restorative class if you watched that video. Okay, same thing here. If you have to make that ankle roll, you make the ankle roll. If you have to sit on a block, you sit on a block. If you need something behind your knees, you pull in whatever else you have in the house behind your knees, okay? Make sure you take care of yourself. So now this prop is going to go in front of you, like so. Now, when my knees are going to be wider than the blanket, I first sit on my heels, I lift my chest, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to come forward, keeping the buttock on the feet. Okay, and just come forward. Make sure your abdomen has space. You don't want to have this too close in, because then your abdomen is going to be pushed up. Let the abdomen fall into that little crevice. Okay, let the arms just be here. You can turn your head to the side if it's too much on your neck. And then if you're turning your head, turn to the other ear. So get your tailbone to go down towards your feet, with getting your sternum chest to go forward towards the top of the blanket. So now you're going to walk your hands back towards your knees. Press into the floor, inhale and come on up. And now I want you to watch here first, because now we're going to extend the arms forward. Okay? So now, important here, I have to keep the buttock on my feet. So now as I lift my chest, the idea is this, right? Buttock down, chest lifted. This idea has to happen here. I keep that as I come forward. So notice how I keep my head and my chest up. My buttock is staying down. And now I'm going to lift my chest a little bit more, and now I'm going to walk my hands forward. So now it's like that Parsvottanasana idea you had before. The side of your chest has to extend forward, okay? And then you lay down. So now you can use your hands and your mat to get the buttock to stay down. So now you do. So as you get the buttock to stay down, chest lifted, now you're going to walk your hands forward, Keep the buttock down, head and chest up, and now lengthen your sternum forward towards the blanket, and then walk your hands further forward. So now the sides of your trunk get more of a stretch. And then walk your hands back. Come on up. Now stretch the back of your legs out. What you're going to do is you're going to come onto all fours. Curl your toes under, extend your leg, and you're going to do the ooh-ah pose. So as I press through my heel, back of my knee will open on up, and do that as many times as you need to on either side. Okay. Now, put that off to the side here, because the next pose we're going to do, which is number 10, I believe, is going to be Pavanmuktasana. So you're going to keep the blanket. You're going to lay down on your back. So make sure that your navel, chest, and chin are all in a straight line. All you're going to do here is pull your knees into your chest and reach behind your knees and pull them on in. Let the lower back round on out. Let the feet be relaxed. So you have that grounding sense of the tailbone kind of moving up this way, your lower back opening on up, the buttock rolling towards the back of your knees. Lower back is releasing, shoulders and head on the floor. Okay, and then using your hands, slowly lower your feet down to the floor. Roll over onto your right side to come on up. Okay. Now, just move your blanket, fold it in half again, because we'll be using that in just a second. Now you're going to take Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So with a clean mat on your hands and your knees, the first thing I want you to do is we're going to work on the arms first. Okay, so downward facing dog looks just like this. So here I have to get my inner thighs to roll back, my inner arms towards my head. So, first thing I want you to do, I'm going to show you from this angle, is your hands. With your wrists slightly in front of your armpit. So it's not going to be like this, not like this, but a little more like this, right? Here's the armpit, wrists are in front. If you have a shoulder injury, it is okay to turn your palms out to the side. So that actually helps you roll your inner arms towards your outer arms. So your outer arms are going towards your hips, your inner arms are coming towards your face. Okay? So that's the first part. So I have to keep the elbows plugged in so my elbows don't bend. Okay? So now when you come up, first keep the inner arms rolling towards the back of your ears. And press into the floor, lift and extend the sides of your trunk. So as you press your hands into the floor, draw the outer hips back. And then slowly bend the knees and rest. I'm going to turn back to the side again. So now when you do it the second time, you're going to incorporate the legs a little bit more. So now watch here first. So either the hands forward or hands out to the side. Either way, the inner arms have to roll forward. Outer arm is back towards your hips. But now watch here with the legs. So now as I start to press into my feet, I roll the inner arms. I come on up. So here's what I meant about lifting the sides of the hips up. So use the arms here to draw the arm up and suck the outer hip back. So take your hips back. So you feel how much more extension you get in the sides of the trunk here. And now with your legs, roll the inner thighs away from each other.
Roll the inner thighs back, spread the back of the thighs apart, and then think of taking your inner heels down. Don't let the head come too, let your chin go towards your chest. Otherwise your back is going around. Keep your head in between your arms. Think of somebody pulling your back of your ears up. So this way your head stays in line with your spine. And then exhale, bend your knees. And if you need to, rest in Adho Virasana once again. And then walk your hands back. Inhale, come on up. Okay, so now for the last pose, we're going to do Supta Baddha Konasana. So you already had your blankets rolled up. So you have that roll from Adho Virasana. You're going to use that. That other blanket, the third blanket, you're going to use for your head. Now here's where you're going to need your belt. So now with the belt, and I will mention also, if you're very tight in the legs, you can always have a block handy too. So have your back towards the bolster, and now make sure that there's a gap between you and the bolster. A block is a good measurement. Then you're going to take the block out. So, see space. So now here, make sure the blanket, your bolster is level with your hips. Now you're going to bend your legs. The belt here is going to go, your open belt, over the top of your feet. You're going to pull it back towards your outer hips. Have the blocks ready in case you need them. If not, so now when you start to come back with your feet on the floor, you have to press your hands, coil your chest a little bit. Now lift your buttock and tuck it towards your heels. You'll feel how your upper back starts to make a little bit of contact with the blanket. And then roll yourself down. So notice how the bolster is not in my lower back. My lower back is open here. There's a gap, so the back could release down to the floor. This blanket pull to the top of your shoulders. It's for your head. And now you can walk your feet a little bit closer in. Pull on the belt, lift your hips up. Pull the belt underneath the buttock and then sit on it. And now let your feet go out to the side. Let your palms go out to the sides, palms up. Let the elbows drop down so you can feel how the shoulders release down. So if this is too much, you can always put the block underneath your knees. And then as the legs start to relax, you can take the block further and further out towards the outer knee. Okay? And then with the feet together, let the inner groins go towards the inner knees, outer knees towards the outer hips. Tailbone has to go towards the heels so the abdomen can release down. Soft abdomen. So now relax the legs as best as you can. Abdomen soft. Chest open. So feel how the front of the spine is opened up here. This pose is actually very good to do if you're suffering from menstrual cramps. So now relax the fingers, let the palms of the hands drain towards the floor. Elbows released. Let the weight of the arms draw the shoulders down towards the floor. Collarbones spreading. Pit of the throat soft. Now relax your jaw, let it move towards your ears. Relax your tongue, cheeks. Let the eyelids soften and release onto the eyes. And especially let that little space in between your eyebrows, let that broaden. So soft, smooth inhalations and soft, quiet exhalations. Allow the eyes to recede away from the back of your eyelids. And when you're ready to come on out, take a nice soft, smooth inhale. Soft, quiet exhale, and return to your natural breath. When you're ready, slowly move your hands down towards your outer legs. And then use your hands to lift the legs towards each other. So your knees are together, your feet are flat on the floor. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, press into your feet, lift your hips up off the floor to release the belt out from underneath your hips. And then once again, take your hips down, take your arms back down to the floor, and then slowly extend your legs one by one. Let the little toes just drop down to the floor. Once again, on an inhale, slowly bend your legs once again, feet flat on the floor, and then cross your left arm over your chest and roll all the way over onto your right side. You can pull the blanket down for your head if you need, and just remain heavy on your right. And on your next exhale, roll more towards the floor. And press down with your left hand to slowly lift yourself on up to a seated position, crossing your legs. And then once again, close your eyes and release your head down. And on an inhalation, lift your chest and lift your head and join the palms of your hands together in front of your heart. And as you inhale, ascend the chest, and on an exhale, surrender the head. Saluting the essence of yoga, the light of yoga inside yourself. And on an inhalation, lift your head, and gazing at the floor in front of you, slowly open your eyes and lift your gaze to look on out. Namaste. Everybody stay healthy and stay safe.